You can send me one whenever you want. Hello, everybody. I believe you can hear me. I'm here. Send me one whenever you want. Okay. Yeah, let's give it a shot. Hello, everybody. All right. Can you hear me on there? Let's see. If I can hear you coming through here, then I did my job. Yeah, let's give it a shot.
Is this good?
In a second.
Hear me on there? Yeah, I can hear you.
You can hear me
What's
through
that?
here. Hello,
I can hear you.
Hannah.
Hello. Wait, I need to get better lighting here. Okay, here we go.
Yes, we were discussing how there is no perfect way to do this.
No, not with the lives. Not with the lives.
Yeah.
The lives are never that easy.
No. Now, I'm your host, Adam Grabowski. I'm a comedian and self-proclaimed mental health advocate. And this is Say It Anyway Sunday, the weekly interview where I try to bring somebody about that is in either the entertainment or mental health field, and usually both. The purpose of doing this is so that we can use my mantra, say it anyway. Talk about the things that people usually don't talk about when it comes to being a human, when it comes to existing, when it comes to the difficulty of all that. And we're going to say it anyway. We're going to push past that little voice in our head and say it anyway. So we have our guest. Yes, we have our guest today. She was waving at everyone. You do know, well, I think I can wave back at them on here by pressing the button.
I can't believe this. This is in person. I'm like, should be so much better at this, but
I practiced being good at interviews and performances in person, and you know when you have to go live then, okay? But going live here, it's different.
Not good?
It's a little different. So,
okay.
I'm going to introduce our guest. It's Hannah Blum. She is Blum, correct? Not Bloom.
Blum. I changed it. Blum.
When did you change it?
Like I decided that, I mean, originally it was Blum, but then I don't know what happened. I changed it to Blum and I told people Blum, but it's actually Blum and it sounds better.
Cool. Just for everyone else at home, I could have double checked that and gotten it correct ahead of time because we were talking on our laptop an hour before.
Yeah, it's not him, it's me because I like change my name every other day. So it's
That's
me.
Fine. It depends on whether or not you're feeling in Bloom or Blum.
Right, exactly. And you know, like with my book now and like the blooming from your broken, it kind of like bloom. So
I like it. I also am recording myself on my old iPhone over here, so I can screen grab myself. It's going to show up a little bit later when my hand moves just like this. Let's see.
I love you, Dalen. Okay.
Ah, see, it works. Okay. So my guest tonight is Hannah Blum, who is a mental health blogger and an advocate for all people, not just people that are dealing with mental illness. And she has a book called The Truth About Broken that I have here with me. If you follow her on Instagram, she has all these awesome animations, well, drawings that go along with a specific quote. And all the quotes are uplifting and make me feel like I should be nicer to myself, even though that is not always the case. So let's welcome our guest, Hannah Blum.
Hey, oh my gosh. Hello, everybody. Thank you I see all of you like coming and popping up and thank you. I love all of you. And then Adam, thank you so much for having me here. I'm like really excited.
Yeah, I'm having you in your own home. So I've done nothing.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
This is my space.
How's the catering?
The catering?
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing.
Okay,
it's amazing.
Cool.
The mozzarella sticks are fantastic.
Yeah, a little bit soggy because I did send them through the mail, which is the worst.
Yeah, they went through Corona. Okay, no, that was too soon.
Oh, well, you could dip them in Corona. That'd be nice. What's in your tea?
Coffee, not tea.
Oh, it's not? Okay. Now, is it coffee or coffee? How would you spell it?
It's coffee. I mean, I'm originally from Boston.
Oh, okay.
But so it's coffee, I guess. But I shouldn't even be drinking coffee right now.
Anna. Well, you're Anna. It's fine for you. You're in the past.
You're in the
future
past.
time.
I'm in the future time. I'm in Chicago. You're in
Coast.
on the West Coast.
I know. I'm on the West Coast. I just moved to the West Coast. I'm digging it.
You are specifically what area are you in?
San Diego. I'm in San Diego right now, and I love it, and it's amazing. But I'm an East Coast girl at heart.
So what does that mean? You punch a police horse?
No, it doesn't mean I'll punch a police horse, but it means, I don't know, like I've got that like East Coast mentality, like go, go, go. I've had to get used to the rhythm here.
I understand. Oh, well, I mean, there's two rhythms. There's the rhythm of California. Yeah, do you remember the first time you were around people and they walked slowly and you were like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, do you not have somewhere to be? Like, they just
I know, me too.
Have you been to Oh, really?
I'm like, oh my gosh, I wait so long here for coffee. They're like, do you want it vegan style or this? I'm like, I'm from Boston. I just pour it in, throw it at me. That's all I want.
No, you want Dunkin' that's going to be served at piping hot 175 degrees.
Dunkin'
with the lid half off. No,
Dunkin' here.
All right, here's the difference. You may wait a while to get coffee in California, all right, but or some other drink or a latte. But when you get Dunkin' coffee, it's so hot that you have to wait 2 hours to drink it.
It is true. It is true. Dunkin's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dunkin' is hot. Dunkin' is hot. I'll give you that. But Chicago, where you are, is amazing. I honestly, if I could, I have to be here for now, I would move to Chicago.
Okay. I just want to let you know that it snowed last week, and then we also had a little bit of hail, and then some rain, and then clouds, and then wind. So it was sunny today, and I was on a yoga mat outside, except the wind started blowing that away from me. So,
good for you.
Wow, this is the most surface we've been ever. I would say we get deep real quick.
Let's get deep.
Okay, that was pleasantries. I was surprised we even made it 9 minutes of
that was the intro. Blah blah. Yeah. What's the weather? Okay.
All right.
Hit me.
All right. Here's what I want you to know. I have a new aspect to the Say It Anyway Sunday. By the end of this, you have to challenge me to do something. Not a TikTok challenge. I'm talking about over the last couple interviews. In the first one, I had Chris Singleton, and he did challenge me to make a TikTok. But in the last one, I had Shane Schultz, and I actually started recording my podcast that I had wanted to record for a long time this past week. So that's called Avoidance Issues, and I just put it out now.
Oh my gosh, perfect.
Yeah, but that means by the end of this, you have to give me something to do in the next week. That's good for me, or that'll help me, or that'll help me, even if I don't want to.
I can do it. I'm on it.
Okay.
Hey, everybody.
Let me ask you this question. How has life changed for you since the lockdown? And what is the one thing that you think everyone should remember during this?
How has life changed for me since the lockdown? So the thing about it is that I'm a huge extrovert, but I'm a big introvert, and I'm a writer and a creator, and like you. So this has been a lot of time for me to just create more things and stuff. But recently it's kind of been hitting me because I am by myself. Quarantining, I don't have a boo thing, quarantining with me right now. It's not the time to be single. Okay.
So many relationships got serious because of this.
Oh, can you imagine? What if you were, kind of thinking to end the relationship, and then boom, it's quarantine time. You can do nothing about it. So the thing is that since the lockdown, it has been a change, right? But I'm an adapter. And I think when you live with mental illness, that's one of the most important things, right? You've got to adapt. And so I've adapted to it.
Okay.
And the biggest part to remember is, I tell people, don't watch the news media, read. I actually was watching on Netflix today, that new Corona thing. It's pretty legit. Like, it's very straightforward in giving you the facts about the Corona. I would not read the news or stuff like that because it increases your anxiety. Stay clean and just know that you're not alone in what you're feeling and that it's going to be okay. And I tell people specifically with mental illness too, this is a golden opportunity for us to kind of step up and really speak our voice, because so many people, the normies, people that have never ever dealt with extreme emotions, are dealing with them now. And so I think people with mental illness, when you give to others, you give to yourself.
So they might have some advice and knowledge.
Yep.
With it.
Because I have my friends who don't have mental illness who have been messaging me oh my God, oh, I'm freaking out. I don't feel my mood's going up and down. I was like, girl, that's what I ate.
Yeah. What is that like?
But yeah. And so, yeah.
I mean, that's really helpful, I think, turning to somebody that, well, I mean, it'd be cool if,
what about you?
Listen, I have actively avoided my emotions and feelings for a long time. And it is, well, not all the time, just, I don't always avoid them. I just meant that I don't really stay in one place. So
I hear you.
I take them with me, but I go different places. And,
I hear you.
And now I've had to sit in them longer because I don't have as much distraction in terms of going out, hanging out with people, and travel. So I've actually, the only thing that's been healthier for me, because it hasn't been healthier psychologically, although I am sitting in my feelings more, which is helping me process them, is I haven't eaten any food that's takeout or out anywhere.
Amen.
I have barely at all this whole time. Parents don't drink. Yeah. So
there are blessings within it,
Yeah. I hear for some people that are on our Facebook and YouTube feed that there's a big echo. So I don't know if you want to, I guess we got to talk quieter or something. No, you don't have to use the headphones. You're fine.
Do you think, okay, wait, so if I talk like this, can you hear me?
Let's ask them. Has it gotten better? I'm getting some comments over here on that.
It's different than Instagram Live.
In case you're wondering, we have a phone and a camera set up at the same time. Yeah, because Instagram won't allow for...
Okay, wait, is it echoing now?
I think you're good.
Am I good?
Okay. Yeah. I like that in the comments on the Facebook, somebody used one of my phrases, that you're not alone. I have headphones on. They can't tell. They're hidden. Okay.
He's got those Bluetooth.
Oh, so my feed is the one that's got the echo. Awesome. Well, whatever. The Instagram Live is the good one. I'm getting these comments. Thank you, people, in real time. I'm going to try to figure it out while I'm talking to you here. So all that I've said so far and what you were, okay, you can hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
Okay, cool. It's so distracting. There's actually 3 versions of myself that are happening right here. And at the same time, there's like 4 little thumbnails of me. And I have these lights on because I'm not on the West Coast. So it's dark out. So I have these LED lights and I'm wearing a hat because that's my thing.
Wait. So okay. I love this. She's letting us know. Is your volume too loud?
I just need to shut the hell up. That's what I need to do.
No, you don't. Don't you dare. Your volume. Did you turn your volume down?
I think I fixed it, or not. We're gonna go with what we got now. I think it's okay.
Myra.
They're just.
Is it good?
Sure. Don't you like this? How we're stuck in our own heads?
No.
But I have to assume that I am the problem in this.
Maybe I'm the problem.
Isn't that the common denominator in all of this?
Oh, so I think it's good. It's good. It's not too loud. Okay.
I need to get my calm speaking voice on.
I don't have a calm speaking voice. This is me. I'm
I know.
loud.
That's why I like having you on here. I'm excited for that.
I'm loud.
I wanted
I'm
to
loud.
I wanted to say one thing I enjoyed about seeing your stuff on Instagram is that the other day you straight up messaged everyone either via message, like by texting out a reply to somebody's concern, or you talked about it on your Instagram live. I really think it's helpful to have somebody to check in. And do you find it to how do you like the role of having some people turn to you to handle their bipolar or PTSD or depression or anxiety?
I love it. I mean, I love it. I'm very grateful for it, right? And that in many ways is what I'm here for.
Okay.
But it's also not what I'm here for, because what it means to me, right, is that it fuels me and motivates me and inspires me, because it shows that the lack of support we have. You know what I mean? Not saying that people wouldn't, but that means, like, here's the thing, right? I have people coming to me on the way to a mental hospital. I have people messaging me, not just about bipolar and relating. So with that, of course, like, it's inspirational. I'm here for you. But in regards to what you're saying, the thing that I'm taking from it and the area that I'm focusing on for this is that I'm talking about when people send me things like, I'm having suicidal thoughts. I'm, this type of extreme, like, telling me these things, which is great, right? I can't do anything though.
Yeah, they're using you in lieu of a
Right.
therapist.
Imagine someone is going to me before they go to their doctor or psychiatrist. I mean,
You
their
could get
psychiatrist.
a message from you faster than a psychiatrist sometimes, though, if they don't
A
have
better one. And a
Yeah.
better one.
Yeah.
Wait, someone's asking a question. Yes, sugar. Do you want to, you're the host. You tell me, how do you do questions?
No, you're doing it fine. Do you feel others' struggles enable your own limitations? That's a
No.
hard one to understand. So do you feel that the other people's struggles limit your own limitations?
So I was asked this actually in an interview this morning about, like, does it take a lot? Is there a lot of pressure on you? And, like, how does it affect your mental health? The thing about it is that no, it doesn't limit me. I think that I need to, and I told this person before that, this girl interviewing me, woman, that I, am starting the process of hiring people on my team and stuff to spread out and, like, delegate. Okay. And I'm very hard to ask for help. But the thing is that it doesn't limit me. It inspires me at the end of the day. You have to be, when you're an activist.
Like, I love when people ask me. Yeah, I saw it I just wanted to add to this. I saw it when you were replying that it was kind of this, like, in the same way that, let's say, you would respond to your child or to a family member, you were just like, oh, this is a part of what my purpose and being is. Right. To reply to these people, which is crazy because you don't always know these. It's funny that I said crazy, but it's wild because you don't know these individuals and they are relying on you to an extent for some information and some advice.
It's a family.
Yeah. I kind of like it. It's weird.
I know I do. I like it when you can answer, though. Like, I like it. There's a difference between me answering. There's a lot of comments for liability reasons that I can't answer at all. Like, I've got to skip over. And literally, because even one word, I mean, like, the liability of, anything.
It all depends. You might not be liable as an individual. If you're not their licensed therapist or a doctor, you might not be liable in the same way.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you toe that line of, like, good advice to give when you don't know the exact thing to say?
Exactly. I just always like to remind people they're not alone. And and that, and direct them to the resources. But this is the problem, though. There's not enough resources. I talk to people there's not enough resources, but I love it. The thing that I've always wanted to do with my advocacy and activism, they're both the same thing, is build a community, community, like a solid, unapologetic community. And sorry, I paused for a second. A solid, unapologetic community that's like empowered in everything. So I love it. I love it.
Well, that's good. I definitely enjoy when people ask me questions, like questions that you wouldn't normally ask a comedian or you would think to ask somebody. But I like being that third party individual that can kind of pop in, give some advice. I'm not in your life every day. I'm not somebody that's your parent or your classmate or your friend or your ex. Like you can take me or leave me, and I can give you this outside advice. I do find the issue to be that there is a lot of people turning to YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. And I want you guys to be here on Say It Anyway Sunday to feel less alone. I want you to be here for answers. I want you to be here to maybe not feel so weird being human. I want you to be here so that you can quiet the shame a bit, or know that it's not just you, it's other people. But on the same regard, I would like it if people had the right resources.
That's what has to happen.
I'll ask you this right after I finish mine. The question will be, do you have a therapist now? And I had a therapist, but I did that thing where I got like way too comfortable. And then I like was myself, where I try to get people to be really open and honest with me, but so much so that like I knew about her life. Like she had to miss one of our meetings because she's like, oh, sorry, I slept over at Dan's tonight. And I was like, I know, but I made that happen by really digging into her opening up to me.
What?
Yeah, and I ended up leaving that therapist because of her view on her child. I learned that she was a little happy to be only parenting half the time because of a divorce. And I was like, oh, and they're like, yeah, because sometimes I just got to put the parenting thing aside and go do career. And like, I'm just really happy to get away. And I was like, oh, I know. It's nicer than the way I made it sound. But part of me was like, I don't think you can ever take the parent hat off. It's still on. You can put another one over the top of it, but that one's still on.
Well, dude, you're not her therapist. Like, she better be.
Well, yeah, that's me. I sneakied my way in. I got her to say,
yeah, you did.
I did.
Good for you.
No, I don't know if that was good for me. I think that was my way of making myself feel comfortable. Deflection to her, but then also making myself feel comfortable, because then I was providing some sort of insight and way for them to confide in me, versus with it's supposed to be way more in the direction of the therapist.
Yeah.
Do you see one now, and have you had experience? No,
but I am currently looking, because I've been doing some major inner work, and we're all a work in progress. Okay. So I will never not be a work in progress. I definitely believe therapy is essential, whether you live with a mental illness or not. I very much so struggle with therapy. And I am that person that is on the edge. Like, I'm fine. I'm grateful. Have you seen what's happening in Syria? Like, let me tell you, I've had the best life, which I believe I have. But there's certain events, like the trauma from being taken to the mental hospital, that I have not acknowledged. And when a therapist would want to talk about it, I'd leave.
Okay.
However, the other biggest thing is that I think it's important to talk about, because I think a lot of people can relate, is one of the biggest problems I struggle with therapy is I don't trust them.
Okay.
Because I was involuntarily institutionalized. And so basically what that means is that from me even uttering the words of, I don't mentally feel well, or something like that, I was put in handcuffs, and I was taken under the state and put in an institution. Mm-hmm. And from that point on, I've lost my trust in many ways still 10 years later.
Do you feel that towards the entire system? Is it specific parts?
And I'm just being honest. Yeah.
Okay.
I do. As a whole, I have a psychiatrist and I love her. I think though, of course I do. And I think that is
rank
something
them?
where.
Like, do you rank them at all? Because in my mind, I kind of rank them a bit like.
What do you mean? Go ahead, hit me with that rank.
Well, I meant like, I guess the therapist is something that I feel like I can be in more control of. But if it was something like a psychiatrist, I would be a little more like, I really trust their expert opinion, but I'm also like very afraid to be trying or testing new medications out. So them, I kind of keep them a little more at arm's length. So it's kind of like different levels of arm's length that I keep them at.
Yeah.
Now, I've never been held against my will. I've never had institutionalization. I have been there, though, for multiple people having had this happen. One was the person I dated in college. And after that, they said, I can't tell my parents anything. And I'm not going to tell my therapist any of this because I'm not letting that happen again. So then it really fell on me. And
ooh, you take a lot of things on yourself.
I did before. I used to take a lot more, maybe because I had a hard time being wrong about anything in my life and I wanted to play Saint Adam. But it was also my first love relationship. So I had this idea that like, well, the first time you're connected to somebody strongly, you have to be there for them. Like you have to totally be no matter what. I remember saying because they were dealing with Tourette's and obsessive compulsive disorder. It was minimal. It was just tics. But because they were dealing with obsessive compulsive disorder, I said, hey, that's not a problem. And you know what? It doesn't matter to me. Although it does matter if it affects the relationship, you know, because like I can totally be understanding and have leniency. But if at any point the behaviors that are taking place make it really hard to be with the person, I still need to acknowledge that. So, but what I did see was somebody who was very, very smart and intelligent. Okay, someone very smart and intelligent being put in an institution for a short period of time because they cut once and they didn't even want to continue the behavior. And it was, they broke the skin barely and were like, I don't want to do this anymore. Did you drop it? You good?
Okay. Sorry, man. I'm going. Here we go.
Yeah. But what I found.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Sorry.
If you're watching on YouTube and Facebook, she dropped her phone a couple times.
80 times
the camera that she's got.
I don't even have my headphones plugged in. No, I'm sorry. Continue. So
are your headphones plugged into nothing?
Nothing.
Okay, awesome. You're just wearing them for the look. I like it.
Hey.
I just bite it for the look. I don't like it.
Wait. So continue that tour. So they self-harmed and then it was
Yeah, but it wasn't something where they had suicidal ideation and it wasn't an instance where they were going to be cutting themselves or that they even wanted to more than just the one instance of getting to that point. And I think it's okay to be safe. I do think maybe her parents overreacted a bit to have her put in the hospital for like a couple weeks and not have access to things. But then from there, she's like, well, I can't be open about anything anymore. And it's it's very interesting going from the first time because I didn't have experience. So the first time I heard anybody with a butter knife breaking the skin a little bit, I was freaking out. And now I'm not saying that this is a behavior that is something you want or that is good or that is healthy or okay. But when somebody tells me now if they've cut, I just ask them, how are you? And I'm sorry that like you're feeling that you need that outlet. And I just, but I remember how much that this very smart person lost faith in talking to the medical health the mental health institution and system because they were worried about that. I've also had somebody that very much has needed help and all they'll do in an institution like that is babysit you. So you feel like you're just in mental health jail some of the time.
Oh, yeah.
And like the psychiatrist will see you for like like every other day for like 2 minutes, when what you really need is someone to be there by your side to have regular good one-on-one therapy. They'll toss you in a group with, not to say that this is bad to have these people, but you may know some people that you might call lifers, that they'll always be in and out, and it's very hard to hold a conversation to any extent with them. They always may act out in violence or danger. Right. So now you're taking somebody, and then this may be who they're around, and they don't feel comfortable opening up at all because it's such a hectic environment. So when you were away, was it a dangerous group that you were around? Was it calm?
No.
Was it something safe? How was your experience with that?
So my experience just in general, like, hold on a second. Sorry. I know I'm like not stable.
You're fine.
With this.
Where you were in the beginning was good. You're good.
I know. But the thing is forget it. You know what?
I'm glad you're moving around. I'm glad you're moving around while we're doing something. Yeah, no.
Like, after you're gonna be like, girl.
Who gives a shit? Who really cares?
Yeah, you're right.
Are you and I making a living off of what we're doing today? Are we gonna get fired from our fucking jobs right now because I swore?
No, thank God.
We're fine. The thing is, I am sitting on a stool. It does not have a cushion, and because of my injury, my ass has gotten a little more bony than cushiony. So I definitely am like, I'm feeling the wood of this stool right now. So,
now
not in a fun way.
I don't think there is a fun way to feel a stool.
No, but wood. Anyway, we can move on.
Okay. All right. So being taken into the hospital, was completely ridiculous and traumatic and just out of control. And I'm not even speaking about myself necessarily. What really pissed me off and what was really the problem, right? Because I think outside of myself was my parents. What they had to endure, they were told, you've got no rights to your daughter anymore. You're not going to know where she is for 10 days. My father went to war, and he said that he's never been so scared than in that moment. And that's a really powerful statement, because he compared war to what exactly was happening. And so I think that in that respect, no. The mental hospital is a jail. It's a jail. I was stripped of everything. I was sedated. You take medication that completely wipes you out. However, I share stories in my book from there, and I will be releasing other ones that have even more stories, but I'm going to be opening up more about the system, and I just want to make sure I'm prepared. But It was the people. Okay, so there were some people that, were very extreme, also were on drugs and stuff like that. But there were individuals there that, like, I know I was supposed to meet. And they are the ones that impacted my life.
You're talking about other patients in this institution, not the therapists or nurses or psychiatrists.
No, not the therapists or nurses. I mean, they were good. They're doing their job. I mean, they were good, but it's very difficult to get comfortable when you're in a mental hospital. It's a jail. I mean, it's a jail. It's like you don't even know what the hell is going on. You're like, why am I here? I don't understand. Like, why am I being treated similarly to someone who's killed someone? That's what happens to someone that's suspected of murder. They're taken into the institution of the state. That's insane.
So you were in the state institution rather than a private hospital?
Oh, yeah. Like I went, so the state institution was down. The state institution was down. And I want to be careful because I don't want to give the space that I was, because people can put it together. But when you say it was down, what do you mean it was down? It was being renovated.
Oh, okay.
It was being renovated. And so I went to a different hospital that was like in the middle of nowhere.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
I had an instance with a friend where they, it was kind of more like a manic episode where they were up for multiple days in a row. And because of that, they saw some hallucinations while while in a public area, and because of that, they were escorted off of their transit. It's because they were on transit, and because they didn't have health insurance, they were going to have to go to a state institution unless we put at least $5,000 down to keep them at a non-state hospital. So that's, I mean, luckily we were able to do that together. But it's very interesting to see that that's how things are treated. I do think that there's like, I understand that you have to worry about safety, so they need precautions in terms of people being violent. But did you feel that there was a bias against you as though you were going to be someone that was dangerous to others? Like, were they treating you as if you were dangerous to others and not just yourself?
Yeah, I believe environment is one of the biggest things, right? And so, like, let me tell you something. And again, I want to make it clear too. The workers, the people in the system, I mean, I have a lot of respect for them. I don't blame them. They've got to put food on the table. This is what they're being told to do. I always like to make that clear because I don't want people to think like I'm bashing the people that work there and stuff like that.
No, they should be paid more and more qualified, actually.
Exactly. And it's the higher ups. So that's the problem. Okay. And here I go again. But so wait. See, here comes my ADHD.
It's all good. Just so you know, Hannah, your laptop camera has been in the right spot the whole time. As much as you're fiddling around with the Instagram, this one's been okay.
Okay, because I'm like maneuvering it. So the thing is okay. So I'm sorry. What was the question? Was what was the question you posed?
I don't even know the question. I know what we were talking about. What we were talking about was, were you treated as somebody that was considered dangerous to others? And did you feel that there was more danger there?
Yes.
And do you have a quick potential improvement that you would recommend?
Okay, so the thing is that I was molded into stigma from point A to point B. So exactly what we believe stigma to be with people with mental illness, the crazy hair, everything. The minute I walked into that mental hospital, I was stripped of all of my belongings, my bra wires, my hair ties, my drawstrings, my sneakers. Okay. So going in, I had no chapstick. My hair was like frizzled out. My lips were chapped. I'm sedated. My chest is like hung over because I have no support. My pants are sagging. And I'll never forget that
how hot you looked. Oh, let me tell you
something. It would have been my new Bumble like profile pic, No, people would have been horrified.
I like that comfy look. I'm not looking to date somebody that has makeup on 24/7.
My eyes were crossed.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I remember the clapping sound of my sneakers slapping on the floor, like clap. And I remember hearing that, like I can even hear it now. It's exactly what you hear in a scary movie of the person with mental illness that's coming to kill everybody. You know what I mean? That clapping, that slow thing, because my sneakers were smacking the floor.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I think that's a huge problem, that I was no longer an individual. I was completely an illness. I was an enigma. I was a problem. I had no name. I was just another, mental patient. And who isn't going to mold into what their environment? You're molded into that. That's what you're going to think.
I guess I would ask you this. Do you revisit that as saying, I survived this situation? Do you revisit in your mind now saying, look where I can come from other places?
Yeah.
How do you view that experience in terms of shaping you?
Shaping me, it's the biggest thing that ever shaped me. I look at that experience as one of the biggest blessings in my life.
So despite all of...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's the thing is I'm all about broken, I'm all about that broken life. Okay. Because here's the thing is that you're completely shaped from the experiences that brought you down.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And so the thing is that's why, and that's why I don't like to reflect too much. I mean, I speak about the negative of it because things need to change. Yeah. But that experience, that experience was what started that experience is what started where I am right now.
And I guess I would say this, I do kind of have still a stigma. I would have one towards myself if I was put in a situation like that. But at the same regard, it's difficult for anyone that's put into that situation. So I don't want people to think that that's their entirety of their identity.
No.
Right. But
no, you got to let it build you, you got to let it build you. Hi, everyone.
That's very interesting. I guess I would say what's so fun is that just to point it out, because it's fun, part of the thing that I liked about all of our conversations is that...
Oh, Lord.
Well, no, just whenever I've talked to you, I don't know what I'm going to get. And there's always some sort of input that I get to hear. And I think that's also where you can find creativity that you have when it comes to quotable poems or your different Instagram posts. So do you think you would be as creative of an individual if you didn't deal with mental health in a certain way?
That's a really good question. But the answer is no, I don't think I would be. And I know there's this big dilemma about glamorizing, mental illness and bipolar disorder and saying, it's the root of creativity and stuff. Of course, there are limits. Like there's all these different extremes. Okay. Mm-hmm. However, you've got to be honest to say in the sense that the most creative people that have ever, like majority who have Van Gogh, actors and all of these things, they were individuals who were mentally struggling. I mean, they lived with mental illness. And the thing is the reason why I believe, that bipolar disorder does contribute to that is because all of my writing since I was a kid have been rooted in my extremes, have been rooted in my overactive imagination and my ability to wander. If I didn't have that empathetic element, that extreme type of thing, I wouldn't be able to take what I take out. Everybody's writing is very different, but you're always pulling from somewhere. And so for me, I definitely, and from my experiences, I do believe that because I live with bipolar disorder, that has a lot to do with the reason I write what I write.
Well, I was thinking in my mind, is it better to be like calm in terms of my own judgment of myself and feeling okay and normal, and still have a level of creativity, or to be on the extremes and then maybe have extreme creativity? I mean, there's no one way to pick.
There's no one way. That's why here's the thing is a lot of people with bipolar don't take medication because of that, because it completely wipes them out.
Interesting.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. They tell me they're no longer creative. That's one of the biggest things that I hear from people. But the thing is that I worked very hard to make sure I was on a regimen of medications that did not do that. If they were not working and it took away that ability, because the thing is my writing and my creating, it is the root of all things for me. It is my biggest medicine. If I don't have it, it's just, whatever. And so
what happens when you don't have that outlet?
Oh, if I didn't have, I've always had that outlet, luckily, but I think that it is very painful when I feel like I can't write. However, I believe if anybody out there that's watching, right, and wants to write, it's about like writing and making sense of nonsense. So the thing is as if I have a pen and paper in my hands, I'm good. But if I was without that, yeah, it would be a problem. And I know people are probably like, no, you can do it, without, but no, for me, it's my, where I'm free, and so it's a big deal.
See,
but I'm always scared. I'm always scared that one day my mind will go and I won't be able to write.
Now,
it's a fear of mine.
You'll always be able to write, but do you mean you won't be able to create a thing that is consumed by other people?
Ooh, okay. Hit me with that wisdom.
Well, before you answer, I could tell you, I mean, I can't get the same type of live in-person audience right now, which is what I have grown accustomed to creating for, writing for, and performing for. So I've been feeling super purposeless.
Empty.
Not completely empty. It's like just not knowing my place. Because at least before I was like, I am working. I am doing a thing. They clapped and enjoyed me. And then also, if you remember the whole thing about what I love about doing comedy is that I'm catching people off guard and talking about more serious stuff than they would imagine, and catching this group that didn't know that they were going to learn a message about how their shame isn't theirs. And if you doubt yourself and if you worry about your impact on others, then that means you're a good person because you're empathetic and you're trying. That's what I like. And I haven't been able to do that. The way I can do it now is through the following I have and trying to build an online following, but it's not the same as in person. So
no.
So that's why I had to create Say It Anyway Sunday. And I started doing my podcast because basically my podcast, which is called Avoidance Issues, I wake up and it's supposed to be the first thing I do before I look at my phone is record it.
Oh, wow.
And I actually started this practice back in 2016, and I would record myself every day, and I never released it because I was so embarrassed. But I did it for probably like 50 days straight, no matter where I was. If I was on the road, if I was on an elliptical, if I stayed over by somebody, then they were the special guest. And then in the end, it turned out the exercise of doing it kept me okay during the time period. So as much as I hate writing for writing's sake, do you think it's as important to you if nobody can consume it?
Well, that's a really good point. I'm always very careful, right? And you can, like, with social media, because even me, it's like, I'm very familiar. I work in social media and stuff like that. I know the pros and cons of it. I'm always very careful about, am I upset? Like, when you put a piece of writing out there, right? Am I debating whether it's good based on the likes it gets and based on the amount of people consuming it? And so a lot of times before I post now anything, any type of art, I say to myself, this is good. Like, this is great. I'm not going to worry about the likes. And that has really helped. If people
you say it out loud or in your head?
I say it out loud. I'm my own best friend. We have, like, conversation. Yeah, I say it out loud. I'm like, Hannah, this is good. Like, this is good. It's heartfelt. Don't rely, because if I do that, then you're screwed. You're screwed at one point, right? So I think that I have a good gauge at this point of my writing that, yeah, I think that people not consuming it would at this point, because here's the thing is that my art is part of my purpose. So that's why I think I would kind of like, it would drain me. Thank you so much. I see all of your comments. You guys are wonderful.
Now that's the thing that I worry about, because I thought I used to do some of this stuff for fun. Like I thought I was doing some of my comedy and shit for fun. And I was, but now a lot of things feel like I need them to go well in order to continue to have my identity that I've built.
Of course.
And I should know that I'm just going to be me no matter what, and I'll still be good at what I'm doing. But then I judge each individual fucking thing.
Yeah.
And that determines as to whether or not I've done the things I've done in the past, or if I can keep my title. Because you don't pass a bar exam to be a comedian, you know?
No, I don't think so. But the thing is like, here's the thing, that's with everything, right? So like if you're in a corporate job, you start to weigh things on the fact of if you're getting a bonus or if you're getting getting to the next level. We're always trying to get to the next level. We're always trying to look for people to applaud us. I think that's just part of human nature. But I think sometimes, like, and I know for me, you've got to step back and really focus like on your content and just building it and not putting anything out there yet until you really have solid content that you look at and that you look at. I've had to do that before because I've started a cycle of posting just stuff, and I take a step back and I read and I build content that I'm confident in, and then I release it.
See, in the beginning with comedy, I couldn't release everything right away because there wasn't really that way of putting everything out there in the form of an Instagram live or an Instagram story, and I avoided Twitter for so long because I was finding that every time I came up with a great premise, I would put it out as a tweet, and then I wasn't developing it as a joke or a bit or a segment or a larger thing where I have lots of ideas. I would take its little snippet and then leave it at that. So do you think it's best to keep some writings and other stuff unreleased for a while?
Yeah, I think that sometimes, like, okay, especially for right now, while we're in this quarantine, I would take the focus off of, because this is what I'm interpreting that you're saying, is that right now you're in a cycle of just putting content out there to maybe gauge yourself of where you're at or stuff like that. Like you're not putting, you're putting content that obviously you're maybe not feeling as much. I think during this quarantine, what you should do is like take a step back and completely just manifest a bunch of new content and have a plan and start dishing it out. For
me, it's feeling like I'm doing something. I wonder like how important is doing something versus feeling like I'm doing something. Are they equally as important? Like, if I'm not in danger and my needs are met, is it important that I am doing a lot of things, or is it more important that I feel okay and like I'm doing enough? One has more result. One has more inner peace for me.
Yeah, well, inner peace is just, I don't know. I don't listen. Like, I think you can be grateful for keeping your basic needs met, but I don't think there's any problem with wanting to do more.
I like that. My form of interviewing is to ask you a question about me. So that's a really great.
It's just it's a convo.
I know it's more like a conversation. I'm so used to being a talker, having done stand up.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, oh, I ask question and then I focus on your response, like, which is not. I don't have a problem with that in person, but when it comes to something where some people are watching, I was like, oh, I got to learn to.
Sorry, I'm here.
To focus.
I know.
You know what? Okay. You know what I did the first couple interviews? I didn't watch a single comment on Instagram Live until the end.
You didn't?
No.
But why? Because do people I don't think people are nasty on Instagram Live, are they?
They're very good, but I would have a question in my head and then I'd get thrown off a bit. So it's a skill that I'm working on. Like,
too.
Should the comments section be its own little thing that they are talking to each other, or should it be what directly influences me? Do you know what I mean? Like on our other one on your computer, you know, we can look at each other and focus on that.
Yeah.
So it does. I do think the way in which a lot of interviews and lives go now exacerbates some things, like for someone with ADHD, which I have, but I'm somehow able to focus now because I know the lights are on me. Isn't that weird?
Right. Well, you're good. This is something you're used to because like you're a comedian and you're like on, you know, the show and stuff like that. Like this is something that you were born to do.
I don't know. I don't know if I was born to do it. I did. I mean, thank you. That's a good compliment. I appreciate it. That's what I should say in my response, rather than negating and being like, no, I'm not born to do this.
Can't do that.
But I did drop my public speaking class in sophomore year of college because I felt uncomfortable speaking in front of the class and audience.
Did you really?
I dropped the class and I ended up not doing a speech communication class in college. I forget whatever loophole I found, but I found a way to not have to do like a speech comm class. Is that interesting?
Now, how did you overcome that? Thank you, by the way. I see the comments for the writing. I appreciate it so much.
Yeah. Yes.
How did you
check out things? Well, yeah, what I did was I'm not exactly sure how I overcame it. I think it was
really?
Yeah, like I would let my hair fall in my face more when I was telling jokes, and I'd be like, "Oh, that's cool." And like when I would say, like I couldn't look the audience in the eye the way that I do now. Now, when I do a stand-up show, I'm just like, "Oh my God, isn't that funny?" And then sometimes the audience themselves get a little scared because they're not used to direct eye contact or being put on the spot when I'm just wanting them to laugh. I noticed that actually people enjoy my jokes more if I'm looking over here slightly above their heads at an imaginary person.
Really?
Yup. Isn't that interesting? Like
no,
if
that is
directly talking to them, it's like, oh, haha. But when I'm looking over here, you guys love it. You could just get on top of that joke. You know, I'll be like,
no, I love it.
Don't you have that anxiety where you have anxiety because you don't have anxiety enough for a moment?
Of course.
You're like, I'm calm. Wait, that means everything is terrible. What's wrong? But like,
yeah.
I looked like this. The audience doesn't connect the same way. Sometimes.
I know. Sorry.
Sometimes.
No, it's true. It's because listen, I'm a believer. It's awkward when people make it is a little bit awkward when there's direct eye contact. It's a bit intense.
Your phone now?
Are you plugging in your phone now?
Always.
Are you plugging in your phone
I'm
now?
so sorry. I'm like a little bit. My phone is acting weird.
You have the right name for your Facebook, Halfway to Hannah, because I feel like I've seen Hannah from every direction now. So we're halfway. We're halfway to the side. We're halfway. We're halfway in frame. We're halfway.
I know. I'm so sorry. No, seriously. Usually this doesn't happen, but.
No, whatever. It takes the pressure off me a bit because I don't have to feel like what I'm doing is perfect or not. You know?
No, nothing. Yeah,
I would love to just see the other side of every interview, newscast, TV show, and everything that's coming out now and before. Just the behind the camera side of like, you know, like I sometimes can't watch movies. And I watch movies, but then I lose it a little bit because I'm thinking about how close the camera was in like Matt Damon's face and how there's like 7 people behind him. I don't. Do you ever think about production that much?
I do, especially now because oh, you're perfect to me, Adam. Hey.
Yeah, that's a friend, so he's being sarcastic.
I love that. But the thing, that's okay. But yeah, I do think about the production of a lot of things just because like I'm in that business. I work, for a media agency that creates inspirational content. And so I've learned a lot in doing inspirational videos and things like that. So I love thinking about the production aspect behind everything.
That's interesting. What have you learned that was the most surprising about working with a group that's trying to create that sort of content?
How many different how many different elements go into creating something? Like there is a person for everything,
Like what?
Okay, so like for an example, this is kind of interesting, is that there is a job, right? So how you're watching a movie and in the background there, like people are having a conversation. It's completely, wait.
So now is the fun part. Let's unmute ours. Unmute yours. Unmute. So now what happened is we hit a time limit on Instagram.
Wait, sorry, what?
We hit a time limit on Instagram. So we can keep going here. We could keep going here.
Hold on. What happened?
We hit a time limit. So I'm going to start again shortly, if that makes sense.
Yes.
But I want to hit the download button.
Adam, I'm really sorry that I'm moving Oh, I know we're still live on some places.
Yeah.
I'm moving around.
Yeah. We hit the time limit. So I'm going to go ahead and go back on the Instagram Live, and then you just invite yourself again.
Perfect.
Okay? So that's what we're going to do here.
Let's do it.
All right. So I added that one to the story, and we're going to go live again. We're back. This is an exclusive behind the scenes for everybody that's on Facebook or YouTube. You get to see it without interruption the whole time. Now I'm back on Instagram Live. You can go ahead to part 2 on IG Live.
Okay, hold on.
Everyone will rejoin, and then we'll mute our laptops again.
Okay.
You can go ahead to part 2 on IG Live.
Okay.
Everyone will rejoin, and then we'll mute our laptops.
Oh, hold on.
I'll wave at you. What up, everybody?
Sorry.
Right now, we're waiting for Hannah to send me a request so we can get back in. I forget that Instagram has this level of you can only watch it for a little while. I didn't realize that. And
I did.
Okay.
Instagram has this level of
cool.
You can only watch it for a little while.
We're back in.
I didn't realize that.
I think you're back in. We're waiting for Hannah right now.
Boom.
Yeah, we're back, baby.
We're back like I don't want to say heart attack. But
okay, I'm gonna be honest. That was our practice interview. God, can we do it? We figured out that was the pre-interview.
Oh, awesome. Let's do it.
Right. So now we get into the real thick of it. What is your worst sexual experience? No, I'm just kidding. Best
I
sexual
was gonna go.
No, don't. What? Okay, only if you want to.
Right.
It's up to you.
Available. No.
Honestly, can I tell you what Instagram Live? This is not. They don't watch Instagram Lives to make sure that the content's okay. Because last weekend or a couple weekends ago, I've seen this Jamaican live stream on Instagram, and because different clubs aren't open, they basically have a twerk off challenge with a radio station on Instagram Live, and they pin the people's Cash Apps and Venmos, and you could send them money while they shake their ass on the Instagram Live.
Come on.
Hold on a second. One of the girls did dress up like Dora the Explorer, had a giant Boots the Monkey, had a backpack with map. Then she did take her pants off and twerk her ass like it. Now, it's not nude, but she definitely twerked her ass into Instagram. So my point being is we should definitely look for that live. Yeah.
With Dora?
She was Dora. She was like a grown up. Hey, she likes to explore. What can I say? But my point was, I think we could say what we want to on these sorts of things anyway. And I'm pretty sure that most of the people that have larger followings than you and I on Instagram have it because they're most naked. They're like
Always,
Post naked
always.
photos that are telling you to
Always.
go to their OnlyFans page, which, by the way,
Oh gosh, I know, right?
the amount of OnlyFans pages that have, I don't mean to judge. I like it if people can be in charge of their own content, which they're doing, especially if somebody's a sex worker, if they're in charge of their work. I mean, it's way different taking private photos or videos of yourself and sharing it versus having to do something in person with another human being. Doing it virtually is like you're protected so much more by the distance. It is just funny that a lot of people have turned to that. So here's my whole point. We could talk about what we want to talk about. It's Say It Anyway Sunday. Also, we can end with a twerk show. It's up to you. No, have you tried?
I'm practicing.
Do you practice in front of the mirror?
No, not in front of the mirror. I don't want to horrify myself.
Ah, okay. I will practice sometimes, but not as much as I should.
Really?
I can make these go like that, but I can't can you see right, left.
I can't do either. I can't do any
but
of
I
it.
can't do the booty cheeks. I gotta bounce them. I can't make them move
Yeah,
up.
no, stick to the chest, whatever.
Okay. Yeah. So this is what Say It Anyway Sundays is about. All right.
Say it
Now that we're
anyway.
on, okay, you know what's bothering me right now? Here's what's bothering me right now before we get into it. Yeah, your light. No, I don't care how much lighting you have on yourself. You could tilt it down more on yourself. There's a lot of room above your head if you want to tilt your camera more down or move into it.
So right.
I'm mad because Adobe has sent me 3 notifications during this live stream on my laptop to update, and I clicked the remind me later. Remind me later doesn't mean 15 minutes, Adobe. That's some bullshit.
No, what the heck? We should tag them in this and let them know what's up.
You think Adobe gives a shit? You think Adobe cares that they're ruining your life? Every time you try to click on anything you ever want to see in your life, Adobe has stopped you because they wanted to update one tiny little aspect of their Flash player, okay? It has not that I was ever 15 trying to watch something online and then getting cut off because we didn't have Adobe Flash players. So then I didn't know what to do. I got turned about. Okay, I guess so.
I love that Premiere Pro. Wait, continue. Oh, sorry.
Where are you going now?
I'm sorry. I told you I'm a mess.
Okay. This is why your book is the truth about broken. Yeah. So
hey, there it is. Thank you for getting it.
Yeah. What if I just printed out the front cover and just slapped it on a different book that was like a Bible or something?
Yeah, listen, some people, I wouldn't be surprised if they did that.
I'll ask you this question so that we can get back to this being an interview and not me just trying to go on a rant about Adobe and about Instagram Live having limits. Do you like the phrase broken? Are you okay with it?
Yes. I prefer it.
You prefer it. Now, why is that?
Because, okay, so the thing about it is that since when you live with mental illness or any sort of, if you're different in any sort of way, you're labeled with this. So this is the label that I've lived with my whole entire life. And the thing is that I was taught to look at broken things, broken anything, broken relationships as completely damaged and bad.
Okay.
But what I've learned and what I know to be truth is that broken is for many of us where you're whole. Broken is everything. And this is how I would explain it, right? Who the closest people, your friends, think about the people you trust most in your life. I'm willing to bet that majority of those people have been there for you at your worst. Okay, so these are people that when you were down and broken, let's say, they were there. Okay, so these are your closest friends. Relationships. What relationship is more likely to succeed? The one that is already, I don't know, you're an Instagram model and you're dating and you're on the peak or whatever you want to call it, blah, blah, and you never reveal anything, or the relationship where you've been and stuck around with the person through their trials and through their broken.
I think that some people, when there is a more traumatic experience, you will bond quicker. I know you bond more strongly. Now that happens because also of the psychological impact of something that is a more difficult time. It's the same way that some people that deal with PTSD, the part of the process of encoding these traumas is that it is such a high emotional situation. So your brain registers that as something more important. So what that is something that sticks with you longer because it's not something that just passed by that you didn't even notice. Now, I agree that those people are the ones that you want to have around in your life. Those are the ones that are there for you. Like I'm there for you when you drop your phone. Okay.
Always.
But I do want to go back to the phrase broken, because sometimes broken to me, when I've heard people say it, makes me think that there is this stigma to them that they're wrong or that they should be fixed, when maybe they are okay as they are with these aspects of them that are difficult. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Well, that's exactly right. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Like when somebody says broken, you're automatically thinking that, hold on. Yeah. When somebody says broken, it's this idea that you have to be fixed and that you're wrong. But that's like the point of my book and everything, is that redefining broken as not being bad.
Yes.
As not being bad.
Also,
because
some people think of broken as not fixable. Like not out of commission. You know, like when you get a flat tire, you don't say my car is broken. You know it can be fixed. So is broken a good term? Because you may have to live with it for the entirety of your life? Or do you sometimes not like when it's used because there are aspects that can change?
Yeah, you know, I think that there's a way to define it in so many different, like in different scenarios and stuff like that. Of course, like if my phone breaks, I'm getting that thing fixed. Okay. I'm not going to be like, oh, it's from your broken that you Blum phone. No. Right. You know, so like in many aspects as it is. But I think where the root of the name in broken comes from is that for years after my diagnosis, and just like a few years ago, right, I spent way too much time. I mean, my life became, I wasn't on medication or anything. My life became revolved around this idea of healing and fixing myself. I was constantly on the new self-help book. I was doing it constantly every day on the new diet, getting the new green drink smoothie, looking for positive affirmations, And in the beginning, it's all fine and dandy. But what I was seeing was that I was actually numbing myself by trying to heal. Like I wasn't sitting in my pain. It became my life. My life became about healing myself and being not broken. Okay,
so
because
self-help after self-help after self-help,
yeah,
that's like a distraction, the same way people go from relationship to relationship or bar to bar or whatever.
I think it's for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I think that it's hard to admit it to ourselves, but I think for a lot of people, numbing comes in a lot of different ways. And I'm not saying, like, I've got self-help books next to my bed, you know, like wellness and like all of these things are crucial. But I had a breakdown at one point, a severe breakdown, again, like 5 years after. And it was because all of these things, I could not fix myself. And then when I had completely shattered and broke and had been sitting in it, I had time to think. And I realized that I looked at broken differently. And in broken, my broken experiences, everything, that is where I've been most confident. It's where I found my beauty and my identity.
What is your goal when you are self-helping or sitting in your feelings? What is it that you try to achieve? Or do you not have to try to achieve anything?
being okay with it and not beating myself down. I think one of the biggest problems that we do is we spend way too much time beating ourselves down, right? It's like, oh, I hate myself for feeling this way because if I'm low, you know, that means I'm a piece of crap and I'm wrong. Or like if I'm not confident, stuff like that. When you've accepted, right, and you have fallen in love with the parts of yourself that you're not supposed to love, that's when you truly sit in your pain and you befriend it.
Interesting. So it's about actually loving the parts of you that you sometimes see as negative. I've spent this last week beating myself up. And then I was beating myself up because I was like, I can't even be the example I want to be for others. And that was one thing that was bringing me down. Like, I want people to be able to look up to me, but I wasn't even looking up to myself. And then it made me feel like a fraud completely.
No, but that's a lot of pressure, Adam. Like the thing is that I know with my advocacy, one thing I make clear to the people that follow me is that I'm not completely stable. Okay. And I don't want to be necessarily a role model. I want you to be your own role model because I have my own things. And I think that when I was setting myself up to be like, I have to be this role model for people and I'm not living up, right? You're just spending more time being yourself down because the fact is you're just human like everybody else. You're doing a great job. Even if you came on the show and said, hey, I feel like, you know, crap. And I feel like I'm not like that. That's what makes you human.
That was last week's show for sure. Shane did a great job being on point. And I came in and I was just like, hey, we're doing an interview now. Because I was like crying earlier that day. Here's one thing I'm going to pivot a little bit to something you had talked about before.
Hit me.
You were saying you went through self-help to self-help, you know, self-love to self-love, sort of book to book or situation to situation.
I love that. Okay.
As someone who is putting something out there as a resource for people to create more self-help, self-love, and self-acceptance, how do you view this boom on Instagram or other social media platforms of constant daily inspiration?
I don't think there's a problem with it. Okay. Right. So I think inspiration is inspiration. However, people can profit off people. Number one, struggle. Okay. Number two is inspiration is very, and like a lot of people like in wellness, you know, I'm not hating, but a big thing I've been stepping out on is like this wellness movement of people promoting even the idea that things like mental illnesses don't exist, right? So they're posting inspirational content every single day. But what is inspirational to them and their audience is toxic to me.
Okay.
So yeah, meaning like specifically this one huge wellness influencer is part of her movement, right? I won't say her name, but I should put her on blast. But part of her movement is the fact that
story here today, if you want, or we can keep it. Okay.
Not yet.
All right.
And so the thing is that she referred to schizophrenia and bipolar disorder as simply messengers. Okay. People, thousands of people like this. And maybe what they not maliciously, right, are observing as something that motivates them and inspires them is completely dangerous and toxic to me. So I think inspiration has
what did she mean by their messengers? What do you mean?
Can I be honest? I have no freaking idea. A part of the movement and the things I guess that she is stating is that basically mental illness, and this is a lot of influencers right now, that mental illness does not exist, that it's something born out of trauma and things of this nature, which I believe in many ways, but not in every way. that's not true.
Sure. It exacerbates things.
Exactly.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think that heavy drug usage, a dependency on whatever it may be, either codependency or a substance dependency, or having 9 different influences in terms of social media, worrying about how you stand amongst others, how you stand amongst your friends.
Oh, yeah.
I think all of that can definitely exacerbate things like bipolar disorder or anxiety, depression. I do think that the environment we live in affects a lot, but I do also think some of it is very much internal.
Of course.
There just is a lot that also makes it worse. I find that, sometimes you have the chicken and the egg. It's like, do you think people develop more of borderline personality or bipolar disorder because they had heavy usage and major addiction? Or is it that bipolar and borderline personality disorder had led more to addiction and usage because it was a way of coping with ups and downs or trying to find ups? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the big thing, right? And that's the big debate. But here's the thing: is I realized in mental health, you can't really be one way. In the middle, right? Because if you're in the middle and you're like, well, it could be, it couldn't be, it's like then we're sending mixed signals.
Okay.
And so the thing with the inspiration and stuff like that is I think people have manipulated a little bit the system to make you think that you're being inspired when really you're absorbing messages.
You're getting that regular dopamine hit. If I consume 27 different levels of self-help content, maybe even this interview right now. But the thing I'm trying to break with this is not that we're just a feel-good dopamine hit. And that's what I don't think your posts are. I think that I enjoy them, but I think they're always trying to hit an aspect of something that is real. So I hope that we're breaking down that wall of it. And yeah, I think some people do front with the guides that they are always giving some sort of self-help and you need to consume it as it goes.
Exactly.
Also, I don't want you to forget, at the end of this, you are supposed to give me something that I have to do. Now, with the first one, I started a TikTok, and I actually, on the TikTok, I just made a little video. I tried making a funny one and it didn't work. So then I made a video because there's voice modulators or whatever. And I just said hey, remember that every TikTok is a dopamine hit and you're becoming addicted.
How did you do?
Using this app? I don't know. I didn't post enough hashtags with it. So it probably got 200 views or whatever.
Thinking of it. I think I know. Oh shit. I think I know what I'm going to tell you.
Ooh, I should order you a phone stand.
I have a phone stand. It's the damn charger that's the problem.
Okay. I got the suction cup kind that's used for
I need to.
Yeah, that's what I've been using this whole time. This suction cup thing.
Oh, I need to get it.
Background.
It's how am I doing what I do and not?
I'll send you the link. So every time I do a Say It Anyway video, I do it in my car and I use this thing to hold my phone where it is. Yeah. So I by the way, what is the thing that you think I need to my challenge may be from you?
Okay.
Ooh,
okay, so
wait. Keep thinking on that. Somebody said, how do you quit social media?
What do you mean quit? You mean get off of it completely?
Yeah. I guess.
Ooh. Well, I've actually written
it's important.
So I think first, here's the thing is I know that I've taken a break by completely just deleting all of my apps and really sticking to it. I've written a lot of posts about this, on my blog. But the thing is I think to completely quit social media in today's world is it's such a resource now in technology that even quitting it seems almost nearly impossible. But I think one big thing is when you're deleting it off your phone, and you should not, like like you said right there. I do not follow accounts that make me feel like crap. I do not follow accounts that aren't inspiring. I don't. Like a lot of celebrities, I barely follow any.
Mm-hmm. I guess I would say I've had to unfollow some people because also my own jealousies, but also because it's stuff that I'm like, oh, this is all obviously fake. I'm not a big fan of that. I think they were asking maybe a little bit and this is a follow-up to that, and I can maybe help answer the question. It was, how do you stop yourself from needing those dopamine hits? And the truth that no, the way I asked the question, you interpreted it correctly. They then followed up by saying they meant the dopamine hits. And I think you have to do it slowly, but also by doing other things that can replace it that are more positive. So what I did was I started recording my podcast, Avoidance Issues, which is the perfect name for it because I actually created the logo and got all of the social media for Avoidance Issues 5 years ago and just started it now. Okay.
I love that.
Yeah, well, it proves the point of the title, but I'm trying to record it before I look at my phone first thing when I wake up. So I literally have to train myself to not flip my phone over, which means I've had to find a different clock in the house because my phone has always been my clock. So I got to look towards a regular wall clock to know what time it is when I'm waking up, you know? And I think you have to do things like get as much sunshine as possible. I think video chatting is a good idea because that is the closest thing we have right now to meeting up with somebody. I think exercise is what you got to do. You got to eat right, and you have to like live in your real environment and not the digital. And it really comes from maybe setting the limits on your phone for the amount of screen time you're allowed to have, or the moment you start to rabbit hole, or the moment you have a thought like, wow, look at how many followers, or wow, look how good they're doing, you close the app. You have to try to activate something in yourself that says, close it out. It stopped helping. This is negative now. And I'm able to survive better when I don't get on these things. It helps if you do something like this, but when it comes to the actual scrolling and posting and other stuff, it's not been helpful in my life, which is so terrible because I want to have people follow and listen to what I have to say, and I'm promoting myself on social media that I say is bad and you should get off of it. Like I have this conflict. Well, I have this conflict all the time because I'm like, hey, I don't want people in my life to have to be on this all the time. Right. But if you're going to be on it, hopefully I'm contributing something that. Yeah. So like if you're watching now, awesome, because this is like a podcast, okay? This is a conversation that you can be a part of by making a comment, and I hope that you're enjoying this. But when it comes to scrolling to see Dan Balzerian or whoever the hell is showing how many yachts they've been on in a week, like
I don't even to me that's very meaningless. Like I don't even find interest in that kind of content. So
man, I started to believe it a bit because I was like, okay, so if you could sell this crap to people, you might be able to get some of the thing that you're selling. But then I've also seen behind the scenes. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say the thing about those people, and I think like you have to realize too, and that will help, is the fact that they're miserable too. You know what I mean? Like they struggle as well. Like they're not completely, and I know that's like, well, not all of them, but if you're constantly putting yourself out there in that degree, then yeah.
Well, you know what I am jealous of? I'll be honest here. There's something I'm very jealous of. It's when people have tech people, when they have someone to take the photo, edit the photo, and then post the photo for them on Instagram. I'm like, oh, that's the dream. I'm happy doing this part. The interview part is the best, but the setting up my entire room to look correctly for it. If you see with the lights and like we moved the couches out of the way, and I put a plant which you couldn't see because it was too low, so I have to find a way to elevate the plant next time. But that's what I wish.
That's a reality.
Yeah, that's one thing.
That's reality.
I'm jealous of. Now, what is the thing you were going to potentially challenge me to do in the coming week?
I'm going to potentially challenge you to write a poem over the next week and then say it on next Sunday, first thing when you enter.
Okay, I gotta write this down. So I gotta write a poem and say it at the beginning of the next one.
And recite it at the beginning of the next one. I will be tuning in.
Okay. Oh man, that'll be really weird because I think my next guest is somebody that is not in the mental health field, but definitely has a great big audience, and his audience is great because he produces, potentially this is our guest. He produces a lot of very funny videos, animations about his life, stories. It's all just like really funny, wholesome cartoons and stuff.
Oh, that's awesome.
But he's gonna rip into me if I start with a poem. He will tear me because we know each other as performers and stuff. And
or rap.
No, we'll go with the poem. That's way better than the rap. I think that's better. Okay.
Poetry can be funny.
One of my favorite memes is this that I saw recently, and it shows somebody. It said English teachers when students use broken grammar, and then they're just like super angry, and they're like, but when poets do it, they're like, oh my god, it's so brave.
It's like, oh, what a new
wet bow or whatever. What was it? Ezra Pound or whatever the hell, the person that wrote a 2-line poem. I don't count that. It doesn't count. I'm sorry.
Think about some of it. Yeah, think about some of the poems that you see and stuff like that.
Yeah, do you think it's the quality of it?
Well, art is art. You know, art, I don't think there's such thing as bad art because art relates to somebody, you know, like art does.
I was going to say, you've never been in a modern art museum for more than 3 hours then. Because
I love museums.
But the first 2 hours of modern art, I'm like, all right, cool. This is great. And then by the last hour, I'm like, this is a gummy worm on a wall. What is this?
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I've been there and I've even said it, but then I always look at the person next to me. He's like, oh my gosh, like this has saved my life. It makes everything make sense. And I'm like, there you go. Like some people would look at my stuff and say whatever, and I'm sure they do. Unfortunately, I don't care. But the thing is that, yeah.
I think the hard balance of it all is that I want to do things to make me okay. And I also want to do something where I can consider myself successful at it and maybe make a living at it. And that's where the things get difficult. But I got to keep myself okay because in the end, that's the only thing that matters. And I've been forgetting that. So I might have to reject some of the things I've been worried about, which is if I have a really huge following or if I would get a lot of work during this lockdown.
Yeah, just go with it.
Well, going with it might mean having to go in a different direction. So
no, don't go with it. Fight against it.
I'm not going to stop doing things like this, but I might do like a master's program.
Why not? Do whatever. You're young. Do it.
All right, I'm young. I think I'm older than you, Missy. We don't need to compare right now.
You're older than me, I think.
Yeah. I don't look it. I grow this little stubble out so I can seem.
No, but still, I mean, young. Like, think about it. Like,
I have a purple pen that is erasable, so I guess I'm still young.
Yeah, like my grandmother's 90 years old. She's the youngest woman I know. I mean, like we look at like what? Like, no, you're not old.
Okay. Well, you know what? This is the first time I've ever in the interview made the challenge official where you give me something to do. The other 2 times it happened organically. And now that I have to write a poem, maybe we'll remove this segment in the future. Who knows? You know, that might be, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Don't you dare.
I mean, I still have this assignment that I have to do.
Oh, I'm tuning in.
Ah,
I want to hear that Ernest Hemingway / Adam, whatever.
in order to Ernest Hemingway, don't I have to get shit-faced ahead of time? Now,
Oh, yeah.
just to scroll through the comments, we can address one or two more things. Thank you so much for your time. I enjoy doing this.
I love it.
I got into it the best when I forgot people were watching.
Yeah.
The question that I will answer myself and ask you is how do you decide what to care about and what matters? I have often used other metrics, which is how much people say it matters. I've used that before in the past, and I don't think I'm ever going to fully get rid of that.
No.
But I could try to choose to focus on seeing if there's a positive impact to my actions and then going forward with that.
Oh, yeah. I think that's a great way to put it.
I think a lot of people have used the fact that they make money as proof that they've done something, which is true, but it doesn't always mean you've done something helpful.
No, yeah. And I think the thing is like whatever you care about matters because you care about it.
It matters to you, but what if what you care about is dumb? Like tearing down forests so that you can...
Yeah. Oh, well, okay. Then yeah, you're right. Then I would go with your method.
Okay. I don't know.
Gauging. Yeah.
Yeah, our capitalist society doesn't always reward those that do things that are best for others or the environment.
Amen.
Yeah, and the follow up was, how do you decide what matters in terms of self-image or social media? So, what is it that you, Hannah, care the most about in terms of social media?
That people are relating to my content and finding it inspiring.
Okay.
Pretty much.
So that they can then function in their lives as they are?
I mean, hopefully to give them some sort of empowerment that they can come back to or really carry, because I think words are the most important thing that it's everything. And I think when you can carry words with you, it's very powerful. So if I'm providing that, then I'm good.
Okay. Well, that's great. I've been stuck in, during this quarantine, people go, oh, you should do what matters to you or what makes you happy. And I'm like, what?
What?
I don't know what that is. It seems kind of fruitless for it just to matter to me. So I have to learn to make sure that it's things that are good. And healthy.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
not just what are my favorite hobbies, but maybe I'm exercising more and I'm eating a certain way. But yeah, sometimes I get caught up in the what is mattering to me. I don't know what matters to me.
I think you've got the perfect gauge. You're self-aware.
Yeah, being self-aware, that's always made life so much easier. Like, I want to be that person that's holding a sign that says, I need a haircut. I mean, I do need a haircut. But, like, I want to be so obliviously unaware that I can just, like, think I'm doing the best. Like, I can talk about how my ratings are through the roof because I'm in charge of the federal government during a pandemic.
Whoa.
And think that it's me that's getting the ratings and not the fact that people need the actual information from the federal government.
Wow.
No.
Wow.
Okay, wait. No, I'm sorry. That's not something I want to do. So, Hannah, I thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm going to have to send you one of these. It's, I don't know if you ever got one. It's my shirt that says, it's fine, I'm fine.
Yes, please.
And then on the back it says, clearly it's not fine. So
Send.
And then
that's
on the back it says, clearly it's not.
Please
So,
send.
that's
Yes.
I love it.
Give
You're
me
so
that.
inspirational. And I really appreciate this. Was so much fun. Sorry for moving around everywhere.
I had fun with it. I am now ready for any level of activity when I'm doing the interview. So
I know. I'm
be,
usually better, like even with my lighting, but I'm all over the place right now.
it's fine. What is the one thing that people need to remember so that we can get through the lockdown and pandemic?
You need to remember that you're not alone, and that, really get active in the mental health community, and know that everything is going to be okay. Know that everything at the end of the day is going to be okay, and you're not alone, and don't be afraid to reach out for help. And you're beautiful, and you're loved, and you're light.
Damn, that's way more inspirational. I was going to say, like, you're helping. I don't know. Watch more of these. Oh, and if you need one of these shirts, you can order them on my website. It's buy one, get one free.
Awesome.
April. So at the end of this month, the deal's over. But yeah, thank you so much, Hannah. I'm going to sign off here.
Bye, everybody. Thank you so much.
Yes. I think you could just hit the X and then I'll end it. Okay. Thank you to everybody that has watched this. Oh, I got to end it on here over too. We have 2 different broadcasts going on. Wow, we talked for a long time. Thank you guys so much. I really
thank you. Oh,
follow me for more. Next week's guest may be, I can't say the person's name because I don't know if they're going to be on this week, but it's going to be a good, fun, interesting guest. And if you do want to learn how to navigate social media a little bit better and create content, this person will have a lot of insight on that, although they're not maybe in the mental health field, as we would put it, not like Hannah. So Hannah's still over there, and I'm gonna
bye. Wait, I'm getting off now. Bye, and you can continue. Thank you. I love you all.